Hello shareholders. So in what is rapidly becoming a tradition, what's on in tomorrow night's show? Well, we've got Kayak Bryn cooking venison and stalking it first, and that's all thanks to you lot pushing for cookery on Field Sports Channel. And we've got the bad boy of British clay shooting, Ben Husthwaite, saying exactly what he thinks of other shooters. Put on your tin hats. So I was thinking this week, it has been 100 days since we launched the DPO, the Direct Public Offering, at the British Shooting Show. And perhaps it's time to have a look and see what we have done and what we've not done yet. The biggest thing is, of course, what we started off by calling Eat It and what morphed into Hunt and Cook with Kayak Bryn and Hunt and Cook Recipes with Kayak Bryn, both of which are sponsored by Zauer and by Blazer Clothing. And in an as yet untitled series, Fizz Fizzackly, we'll be looking at venison and deer stalking in the south of England. It really has all been about cookery. So many of you got in touch with suggestions on how to do this, and if you feel we're not taking up those suggestions, if you feel there's something missing, just let me know and we'll make sure it goes in. There's going to be plenty more of this. Yesterday was the launch of the British Game Alliance, which you will hear plenty about in coming months. It's going to do for pheasants and venison what the Reg Tractor has done for British food and farming. This could be the kite mark which many of you support, including Andy Lawrence, Darren Kilner, Helen Stammers and Nigel Appleton. Thanks to you, cookery really is at the heart of our programming, which I could not have predicted. I thought all you lot wanted to see was pigeons falling out of the sky, but you have surprising depth. A year in the life of Red Deer 2 is underway, as Carl Woodall asks, with a wider brief than just deer stalking. We're going to be covering some of the horrors that the Scottish Government is trying to foist on hunting, shooting and fishing. And on Friday, David Wright went up to the BDS AGM, the British Deer Society AGM at Edinburgh Zoo, to film that. I'm really proud of the Famous People Who Hunt film, 15 Famous People Who Hunt, which showed Nelson Mandela with his Blessbok and Charlie Chaplin and Coco Chanel, really surprising people enjoying hunting. And I think it's the kind of film that makes a difference. It was in Field Sports Britain and it's a standalone. Together it's had 25,000 views in 2 months, which is a good start. We covered ethnic minorities. I went out with Al Gabriel and we didn't harp on about ethnic minorities in the film, we just went stalking, which is exactly what we should have done, and I hope we're going to do more of that. We've also been able to do a lot more on news. It's thanks to the buffer that the DPO investment has given us that we've been able to do more on Malta. We cover what happened in Poland and we've been able to keep on top of Packham. And we have a wider Packham grouse shooting piece underway at the moment. That'll probably take a couple of weeks to pull together. Can't wait to get that one out. We also covered the woes of YouTube's shooters and hunters who were convinced that YouTube was going to close them down, which of course it didn't. And any of them who moved to other video sites must surely be thinking about coming back, because it is all about audience and YouTube's got all the audience. On Friday, while David was up in Edinburgh, I went to the YouTube Brand Jam in YouTube's headquarters in London, where Google coached 100 YouTubers on how to talk to brands. And I have to say we are pretty advanced for a bunch of old wurzels. We ended up doing quite a lot of the coaching ourselves. We have some collaborations planned for the autumn, going out with Sergio Couto and others. Looking forward to that. And we've got you lot filming for us, which is terrific. We've got Al Gabriel going out to Basque events in the northeast for news. Andy McGarty covered the Rifleman Firearms Open Day in Somerset at the weekend. You'll see that in news tomorrow. And Jefferson has produced an entire, or is producing an entire pigeon shooting package for us. So more of that, please. If any of you who've got an event you're going to, please shoot some film. Ask me for guidelines how, and ping it through. So what's not been done yet? Well, quite a lot of projects are at the drawing board stage, but without the DPO they wouldn't have got to the drawing board. Thank you to Dave Brewer for helping us with advice on Field Sports Canada, to Moose, and to Ken Payne for the same for Field Sports Australia. We've got a film about the DSC2 we need to make, which Alan Murray wants to see. And we want to do something about conservation in shoots, maybe at Chris Wood's shoot in North Yorkshire, maybe with Marc Buisson in Norway or France, or should we just be including conservation in every film we make? I want to go behind the scenes with a pack of foxhounds, suggested by Steve Kearney. And he also says, how about doing a cartridge price comparison, which has been sitting in our program folder for about 6 weeks now. I haven't quite got around to doing that, but I will. And he also says, how about some window stickers for Field Sports Channel to put on our cars? Good idea, we must do that too. Left-handed shooters, says John Shields. Triggered visor, says Finn Morton, still love that one. And lots of you say reloading. Planning for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Birmingham still has time to reinstate shooting, having dropped it from the 2022 programme. Well, if they don't, thanks to shareholder Nigel Appleton, we have a plan in place to help Bisley with the media side of it. Planning for Out of Town 2 has stalled again. Lots of sports you would like to see covered in that. We could include wildfowling, says Ronan McBrien. We've got falconry, says Paul Jones, and Helen Stammers and Darren Kilner. And they also suggest a film about what to do in the off-season. The codes of good shooting practice and all that. And we very nearly got a school to help us out with kids as cast members. They got cold feet, unfortunately, but we could still do that. Thanks to Tim for setting that up. We will get that underway because I think that's going to be a great basis for doing commercial codes of good shooting countryside practice in the future. These are just some of your ideas. If you've emailed before and you feel I'm leaving your ideas out, please, I have a very thick skin, email again. The Crowdcube project is taking up a lot of time, but if we can get it going, it'll be a reboot for airheads, for clay sports and for Fishing Britain. Even if it doesn't work, it will provide us with quite a lot of useful background documents. So it's a win-win for Field Sports Channel, whichever way it goes. Now, one of the things I was surprised about is that we haven't actually had to use any of the DPO money, the investment budget, for any of the ideas we've managed to pull off so far. It's all come out, it's all been soaked up within our operational budget. So the bulk of the money, apart from what we spent on merchandise, is still intact, waiting for a project to come along. And on the operational budget side, I'm glad to report that we have a new rather large sponsor in Sacco from Finland. So expect to see quite a lot of Sacco rifles in our programming this year, alongside Steyr, Mauser, Blaser, Sauer and Browning. It's going to be a very busy year. I'll see you next week.